Let me take you on a walk around Singapore and understand Singapore is a wonderful place to come depending what you want. But anyway, let me take you around and show you Singapore. One of the three-way tunnels along the quay. Understand that Singapore is an extremely clean area. It's a wonderful, clean city. Nice to walk, nice to be with somebody and to experience the colonial past and the building of what is Singapore today. A huge amount of young people and a huge amount of extremely attractive women. Asian women come from all over the area to Singapore, hoping to get that man that's just right to take back to mummy and daddy. And in the evening, as I'll show you later on, it is extremely interesting to watch what can only be described as beautiful, beautiful women waiting and hoping to find themselves somebody who they can fall in love with and can support them and look after them, and of course for them to work within the family unit and to bring up a family. As I walked along the quay this morning, I saw a family of otters, 5 otters, swimming in the bay. There are a huge amount of restaurants here, catering for all sorts of food from all over the world. Because remember that Singapore is a hugely multicultural country, city, state, whatever you wish to call it, but hugely multicultural. There are people working here from all over the world. Here in the old part of the city has a brisk nightlife, good bars and restaurants, and of course behind it the financial capital, banks and all sorts of institutions. But of course you've got to understand, this is 2022. The world is changing. The world is overdone financially. There are 8 billion people crawling around this planet. There are too much of everything, whether it's restaurants, hotels, housing. There are cities that are totally empty across the world, and society is starting to crack. Be aware of what is happening around you. Don't take on large mortgages, debts, and problems. Because after all, to be saddled with a mortgage for 20 or 30 years of your life that takes and drains your income on a monthly basis is a fool's dream. There are civilized countries around the world where for 15, 20, 25,000 euros you can buy a dream home. A home where the health service will keep you well and alive. Schools where your children can smile and be happy. And a safe society where you can leave your keys in your car or never lock your homes. Why are people around the world taking debts on, sometimes for hundreds of thousands of dollars, pounds, euros? For what reason? I ask myself every day I get up in the morning. There are wonderful places, as I say, to travel around the world. But if you were traveling on a budget, coming to places like Singapore may be a little bit difficult. After all, you can get flights around the world literally for a few dollars. But hotels are now getting to a point where they're so expensive that they're hardly worth going to. Restaurants that are charging $100 for a couple to eat. You don't need to go to those places. You don't need to take on the debt. Of course, if you can afford it, it's not a problem. But there are so many countries around the world where that is simply not necessary. The financial district with its banks, its bronzes, and of course in the week its beauties. And what I mean by that is the goddesses that walk around here for their career and looking for that man that they can fall in love with, have a family, and live in a secure and happy environment. I suggest anyone looking for a wife to come to places like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and many of the countries around there where women still have respect for men but will respect them. On my walk around Singapore, I caught a pigeon because I noticed that its leg was entangled in rope. I have to spend a lot of time in which to take this off and to try to help this bird to live a more happy life. A sweet little pigeon. It may be vermin, it still has a life. Well, eventually I managed to get the twine from off the pigeon's leg. Been probably tangled around it for many months and was stopping it walking properly. Of course I understand that a pigeon is vermin, but she doesn't deserve to walk around with a limp. Well, here she goes. Pigeon leaving, and I'll take you around the rest of Singapore. We're now at the Jubilee Walk and some of the bronze sculptures that are around. Singapore. The Fullerton Hotel, one of the premier hotels here. Well, there's obviously weddings going on at the moment. The red carpet is out. I'll take you through the revolving doors just to have a look at what is one of the premier hotels, as I say. Corey Carp by the hundreds. A bronze of children at play. Now we're going to cross this beautiful old bridge, which is just over 150 years old, when of course this was part of the great empire of Britain. Beautiful iron structure with the financial district, the banks of China and America, the old town, and of course the walking beauties. One of the many museums of Singapore which are definitely worth visiting. This time of the day, it's around about 12 o'clock lunchtime. The husband hunters are not on the streets. If you're looking for a wife, you need to be here when the girls are going to work in the morning or leaving in the evening, or of course many pubs and clubs that dominate this city. Some of the bronze structures that are here all around the city, showing the past, are an incredible, poignant reminder, of course, of Singapore's past. It's a trading post today, but it's been a trading post for a long time. Commerce and business being extremely important to the survival of this country. Victoria Memorial Hall, Victoria Theatre. Today they're playing rugby in front of the National Gallery of Singapore. Well, this is the second pigeon of the day. I was going out filming. I wasn't going out taking string off pigeon's legs, but she's limping around and she really doesn't like what she's got on her leg, and you can see there that she has a piece of string around her leg. I can't even see what is a rat of the city struggling with this around its leg. Is not nice. So again, on my walk of Singapore, I'm finding myself looking after the wildlife. Just this leg, yeah. This particular pigeon is very caught up with its leg, completely full of string here on the Singapore walk. And I find myself, even though I'm walking around Singapore filming and I see wildlife, I simply can't help. This one has lost its leg completely, but you can see it's right down to its bone. It's probably better, but it hasn't got this leg, and it actually looks far better without the string. The two strings were joined to this one and this one, but it was right the way to its bone. But hopefully this one will heal now and the bird will be alright. Well, the pigeon unfortunately lost one of its toes, but the string was right down to its bone and it was rotted at that point. I hope it will survive. Anyway, let's go again. Financial district, and of course, one of the most famous hotels on our planet. We're now going to take a walk across the bridge of DNA. Ferris wheel, but since it was started in London over 20 years ago, has been exported to the world in the innovation. On the other side of the bridge you can see the vast ports and shipping of Singapore, and then of course we go over this incredible stainless steel structure. And in the evening, many young ladies come down here to have their pictures taken to post across the world to tell men they are waiting for a man to grab them, fall in love with them, and of course cherish and look after them for the rest of their days.